for Dale or Cam or any of the DMs, do you have any opinions about running evil campaigns?
They're very, very tricky to balance. I've been in a few Innomine games where we were playing demons, and demon packs are tough because, like, the angel campaign in Innomine, if you're all servitors of different archangels, sometimes you might have conflicting goals, but you feel compelled to find the compatibilities. Demons have to are encouraged by the demon princes to really get each other, right?
Yeah. If you're playing a demon in one of my in-nomine games, you're probably a renegade or else a free Lilum.
Yeah. One of our demon campaigns went off the rails when I think he was... what are the fallen Mercurians?
Impudites.
Impudites. An impudite of dark humor kicked a random guy down a flight of stairs and rolled 111 on his melee roll.
Okay.
Which in Innomine is a divine intervention. If you roll 666, that's a demonic intervention. If you roll 111, it's a divine intervention. 666 is bad for angels, 111 is bad for demons. So I think you also had to roll low, right? So this was like a catastrophically good success on this melee attack roll. And this guy goes tumbling down the stairs and is yelling, "Ah! Ow, my leg!" Right? And I remember that because the DM was like figuring it out, and you could see the brainwave hit him. And when angels or demons interact with the world in a notable way, it disrupts the order of the symphony. So injuring a human is a really good way to attract attention because everyone else can notice it, right? And that, went downhill from there. And that was just a random thing that this guy decided was in character for his character to do, right?
Yeah, I think in general with evil games, you need to have a really great conversation, players and game master, before you ever start. It's like, how evil are we being? Are we all on board? What's our safe word?
Right.
And do one and respect it.
Yeah.
And
boundaries on behavior,
right.
And what is acceptable evil at the table. I think it would be interesting, like Shadowrun. By certain interpretations, Shadowrunners are doing some kind of evil stuff, like you're killing not random people, but...
Well, a lot of the time you're sort of acting outside the law or whatever, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're thieves, right? But you're acting for powerful patrons, and I think in D&D, that might be a good, hook on things, where, like we discussed Vecna earlier, right? If you're working for Vecna, you're probably not working in the best interest of your world, right? And that might be an interesting hook into an evil game, where, it's clearly beneficial for you what you're doing, and at this resolution, you're not really seeing the evil consequences of the things that you're fighting, right? Maybe you're a good aligned party that's fighting evil aligned creatures, but for evil ends, right? And that can become apparent to you.
And there are different kinds of evil. Like if you're doing certain evil things, that doesn't mean you're going to do all of the evil things. It means there's this one place where you're committing crime, but that doesn't mean you're going to do all the crimes. It means, you are a hacker who delights in information theft or whatever.
Right.
And that doesn't mean you're a murderer. And Paul was in a game where they were pirates. Okay, well, if you're a pirate, you're doing crime. So let's just not use alignment in this game and see how it goes.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that was an interesting one because it sort of worked out where we were pirates, but in the context of the game, we were all hobgoblins that have a very which in D&D sort of have a very regimented militaristic culture, and also for weird D&D reasons are inherently evil.
Right.
Because things can be inherently evil and good in the D&D world, right? So it's like they worship God, evil gods and stuff. And so we had this our characters were supposed to be sort of failed recruits. Okay. We had basically scrubbed out of our what's called the Year of Hell or like the last thing you're supposed to do
Like,
before you become
Hobgoblin boot camp.
before you become like a low rank Hobgoblin. We
Okay.
scrubbed out of it, and then we got press ganged onto a ship, and so we sort of had this structure of this like militaristic upbringing, but then we got it, but also it's kind of evil, and then we got put on the pirate ship with all evil stuff. So what we ended up being is like a pirate ship, but once we found out about there's like the rules of piracy,
Right,
like
right.
the laws of pirates.
Well, yeah, because
the
Hobgoblins
pirate's
are
code.
lawful, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're lawful evil. And so once we found out about the pirate code, we were like, oh, this is great. We will follow the pirate code. We will be, we'll be pirates, but we'll follow the pirate code. And so like we, gave shares to all the people on our ship. And
Right.
we were like really, and what we didn't realize is the pirate code, there's always the 0th thing on the pirate code, which is, if you don't want to do this, don't bother because you're a pirate.
Yeah.
We never got that part. And so we were all like super, we were taking ships and like raiding other ships and messing with, raiding villages and stuff. But we were always like, making sure that our crew was really well cared for,
Right,
and everything.
well,
and,
like- You were
great bosses.
and our crew really liked us. Yeah, it
Yeah,
worked
well,
out
like
quite well.
pirate charters were actually quite progressive documents.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I imagine like a Hobgoblin pirate ship is probably run fairly tightly.
Yeah.
For a certain kind of pirate, that's probably actually quite comforting, right? You don't have to worry about people stealing your stuff on a Hobgoblin pirate ship.
We had very stern words with some people who tried to steal stuff from each other, and then like there was one time we raided a village that was like, it was like a slave trading outpost, and we were working with somebody who wanted to. We were kind of we didn't really care one way or another about the slave trading thing, but we were working with somebody who really didn't like it. So we were like, no problem, let's raid this outpost. We'll we'll take out all the guys. And then there was and we did that. And then there was like a store there,
Right.
like a merchant. And so we were like, oh, cool, maybe we can get some stuff. And we go to him, and he's like, yeah, I don't know about selling the hobgoblins. And we're like, oh, damn. Well, I guess we could try to convince him. And we talked about this for like 15 minutes or so. And then we were like, wait a minute, we're pirates. We're pirates who just raided this town.
Yeah.
We're gonna take all your stuff.
Yeah, like, oh man, we just got turned away out of this shop. Well, that's a bummer.
It's like, hang on. We're pirates.
Maybe we can trade some of
Right,
our
we're
extremely heavy
pirates.
weapons.
Yeah.
I think you went in there and someone rolled a diplomacy and did abominably.
Yeah, we did very poorly. We were not very diplomatic in our piracy. So but we tried to. So we were so in that context we were even though we weren't really playing with alignment stuff in the same way, but we were technically we were doing lots of evil things, and we were accomplishing generally evil stuff.
Right.
My character had all sorts of weird. I ended up having to I sacrifice somebody and did a whole thing, and switched to a different evil god, and it was a whole thing. But we sort of had we worked together. I think we actually took it in turns to be like the captain.
Because that's what you do when you're training in your year of hell. Is everybody has a chance to be the officer in charge of the other junior.
So to be captain and then eventually admiral once we got a couple ships.
Getting back to the question though, this is a big challenge for a DM, right? Giving evil characters a reason to collaborate, and not only a reason to collaborate, but a reason to behave in the order that you would expect a good campaign to operate in, right? Where you have maybe a patron, or maybe you go off and do quests, right? Well, why don't we just keep the stuff for ourselves? Yeah, we're evil. We should do that. And it's like, well, okay, right? And it reminds me of reading the design documents behind the Warhammer 40K Dark Eldar book, where the person writing the book was like, we've said that these are the most evil people in Warhammer 40K, and that's saying quite a lot. Why do they collaborate on anything at all, ever? Right? Why do they operate in these pirate bands? And they had to come up with the fact that fundamentally they're rational, and they recognize that they're safer together
Right.
than they are fighting one another.
But ultimately, what that comes down to is the players have to agree that they're going to do this. Because if you have a bunch of people who are all really, really good, you're going to have the same problem. It's like they're going to go into a dungeon crawl, and they're going to take everyone prisoner without killing anybody, and they're going to take all this stuff and then give it back. And then if this is D&D, they're going to have no equipment, and they're going to be working for like 2 silver a day because they're guards, and you're going to be faced with this group. Like, you have to have players willing to actually play the game.
Yeah. Well, it's like the Shadowrun problem, right? When your Street Sam takes the character creation takes 1 million nuyen in order to buy all their cybernetics, you kind of have to ignore the fact that you started off with $1 million and you don't really need to be a Shadowrunner.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Well, my other favorite one that we did as the evil campaign is there was this, we came across this fountain that had some sort of water elemental thing in it. We didn't quite know what it was, but it was some sort of water elemental thing, and that was trapped in this plane. And it was like, I really hate being on this plane. And we had like killed a bunch of cyclopses that were around it and stuff who were trying to, and saying, if you, I will give you a wish if you wish me, but you need to wish me back to my home plane.
Okay.
And we sort of talked about it. We were like, this water thing hasn't done anything to us. We have a lot of enemies already. So yeah, we'll do that. And they gave the wish, and we were like, yep, we wish you back to your home plane. And it was like, okay. And Dale was like, well, the book has this whole thing about how nobody is, how to fight this thing, because clearly the characters aren't going to keep up with the wish. They're going to break their promise. But we're like, it's like we're evil, but we're not dumb. We're practical. We're already like fighting like 3 different giant armadas that are trying to come and kill us. So we're like, yeah, we don't need another thing. Maybe he'll come and help us out some other time.
Yeah, it was some sort of water genie who promised to come back and can grant 1 wish a year. So you were each going to get 1 wish over the next several years, and that, you guys won before that ever happened. But yeah, you made an ally.
But it's like, what do you think evil is, right, in your campaign? You're probably ostensibly trying to accomplish a goal, right? That goal is nefarious, but yeah, it's important that your players keep in mind that there's something bigger than kicking old ladies instead of helping them across the street, right? Like, that was my problem with KOTOR, right? And that's the Old Republic. One of the first decisions you're given is like, light side point or dark side point? Do you like help the old lady across the street, or do you like mug her? And it's like,
it's not usually that simple. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I really feel like a powerful Sith, right?
Well, whatever your campaign, your job when you're at the table is to make sure that everyone else at the table is having as much fun as possible. It doesn't matter if you're a player, doesn't matter if you're the GM, your job is to make sure that everyone else is having as much fun as they can have. And it's not your job to make sure you're having fun. That's everyone else's job. And if everyone does that, it doesn't matter if you're all evil, it doesn't matter if you're all good, because you're all working to have a really good time.